The three-day event forms the basis of the Olympic equestrian competition. Dressage comes from the parade grounds where horses were made to perform in precise lines, gaits, and maneuvers. It was designed to exhibit obedience and horsemanship. The cross-country derives from the use of the horse for courier service and reconnaissance in combat. The horse and rider were called upon to travel long distances over rough ground regardless of the obstacles. Stadium jumping is a combination of the former two and derived from ceremonies and intra-service competition and exhibitions. It also allowed the wives and the families a front row view of the action. In eventing, the name Jack Goff is legendary. A former Olympic medal winner himself, Jack is one of the world's most highly regarded trainers. In recent years, he has coached our Olympic teams to near perfection. We visited Jack recently at a grassroots competition. We found him judging their beginning efforts and generously sharing his expertise with these young hopefuls. We asked Jack to talk about the sport and tell us about some of the current prospective members of our Olympic team.
Actually, I'm French originally, as you can see my accent, probably. But you've got to have an accent to teach dressage in this country anyway. And so, actually, France was the country where they kind of put together the eventing, and they called it concours complet, which in French means complete competition, you know, so you deal with all aspects of horsemanship and different disciplines, dressage, cross-country, and show jumping. This is the grassroots at the lower level, which can be practiced by young riders, even with good ponies. It's also used by experienced riders to give the mileage to the horses in the process of making an international horse. He's got to start in small events. I think what is important is it gives the opportunity to young riders to try their hands at the sport. You cannot have a very strong Olympic team unless you can draw from a large base. But they have to start somewhere, and this is what gives them a chance to start. I think people should be, as well as horses, bold without being nuts. And they should be, I'm always very scared when I hear people telling me, oh, I've got a nice horse. I think he'll make a terrific three-day horse. He's very bold. Generally what they mean is a runaway, you know. That's what they generally mean. So you need people, yes, as well as horses, who are courageous, but who do have a good head. A bold rider and a bold horse with a cool head. Well, for instance, here we have the Grey Goose with Kim Walnes doing her dressage in the last selection trials of the world for the World Championships. Grey Goose is probably one of the very, very top horses in the world today. I would certainly not hesitate to say it's within the 5 best horses in the world, maybe better than that. So it's got the qualities required to be a very great event horse. He's got the right temperament, he's a very good mover, he's got a good head, he's a good jumper, and he's fast, and he's got a lot of stamina. Kim is the mother of 2 kids, perfect housewife, but she had something that some people need to become top in international competition: determination. She was determined that the fact that she was a mother should not get in the way of her competing, and she was going to try. And she believes in it very strongly. She was lucky to have a good horse, and she did a good job with him, and she learned a tremendous amount in about 2-3 years' time. Here we have a horse called Cobblestone and Nancy Bliss. It's always easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, which I'm going to be right now because she obviously made the team. But no question, even before Lexington was completed, she was definitely an up-and-coming rider. She had been doing better pretty much every competition she was entering. So when that happens, you start to really keep your eyes on that rider. That's a very classical example of a young rider moving up to be a senior and who's been successful not only with one horse, she's been successful with different type horses. So she's the type rider that you can expect to see on the scene for quite a while. Cobblestone is a smaller horse. He's about 16-1, if so. He's an Anglo-Arab, so he's got some thoroughbred blood and Arab blood. And he is very strong. He's got, I think if you look at Nancy from behind, you'll see she's got shoulders like a good swimmer. And when I first rode that horse, I had a lot of respect for the girls when I got off the horse because he pulls like a freight train, you know. He is better and better with Mike. You can tell pretty much watching Mike Plumb do cross country that he knows what the heck he's doing. He gives the feeling that he's active, precise, accurate, energetic, and there's not much hesitation in what he's doing. Well, Mike Plumb and I competed in the same Olympic Games in 1960 in Rome. That's the first time I met Mike Plumb. He was on his way in, I was on my way out. We still went to another Olympic together in Tokyo in 1964. Mike Plumb is probably, I think he's the only athlete in equestrian sport, to my knowledge, who has been to 6 Olympic Games, consecutive Olympic Games, 6. And I do not know, actually, if in any other sport there is any other athlete who has such a record. So it's definitely, if he might be the only one, I do not know. Better and Better has been a young horse, 7 years old when he went to the Olympic Games, and he was on the international scene for 6-7 years, actually, was still this year. But that's not very unusual. I think, actually, if you want my true opinion, I think Better and Better was a good horse, but I think Mike made him a lot better and better. I think it's very great also for the other young riders to realize that the team as such is always open to young riders or new riders. There is no such a thing where people are on the team and they're going to stay there. Each time we go to the World Championships, we go to the Olympics, or mainly, or Pan American Games, there are selection trials, and everybody who wants to make the team has to compete on equal grounds, and I think, to me, it's the most important thing. Well, here it's the grassroots of eventing. It is where it all begins, where horses and riders start to compete in this discipline, which includes horsemanship, the basics of training a horse to be obedient for the dressage, making him bold, going across the country, jumping all kind of natural fences, and then come back the third discipline and do the stadium jumping, the show jumping on artificial things. So that's what's happening here, grassroots for riders and grassroots for horses.